Hello, welcome to episode 3 of my knitting podcast. My name is Paula and I live just south of Edinburgh with my husband and my little cat, who's on the move after having a tuna fish. The knitting podcast is called Lulabelle H, the colourful knitter, maybe. I'm not sure if I'm going to go with that or not. Who knows? So the way I structure my podcast is I start off with doing a retrospective. Then I do the kind of usual format that other podcasters do of finished objects, works in progress, and then I don't really call it acquisitions because I don't buy wool just for the sake of buying it with no plan in mind. I always buy it with a view to I have a pattern that I want to knit it into. So that's my format. So today's retrospective is actually a very recent retrospective, so it's quite a current retrospective actually. It's the Sophie scarf by Petiteknit, and when so I think in the last podcast I mentioned that sometimes, when I see a pattern I know immediately that I have to knit it, and that's how I felt with the Sophie scarf. I just kept popping up in my Instagram feed and I really loved it. And it reminded me of when I was much younger, probably about 8 or 9. I had a friend called Gail who was very chic, and I wasn't chic at all. And Gail used to wear these kind of scarves. I don't know if they were silk. They were kind of little neckerchiefs that she just wore with whatever she was wearing. So to me she looked very cool and chic and sophisticated. And I think I tried tying the scarf around my neck and I just couldn't pull it off. So anyway, when I saw the Sophie scarf I thought maybe I can pull off the Sophie scarf, and I think I have. So I actually have, it's the kind of thing that you can, I'm sure most knitters have knitted a Sophie scarf now, because you can use up your scraps, you can kind of make them as big or as small as you like, and they're so adaptable. And just just really fun to knit. They've got an I-cord edging, which is really easy to do. You just slip the last 3 stitches and wrap the wool. And so yeah, I've made 8 versions now, and what I do is I keep them all in a tin, a little Orla-Keely tin by the door. And when I'm going out the door, quite often I just grab the Sophie scarf that kind of matches my outfit, I wear them all the time. When I'm going to work in the morning, I quite often do park and ride, so I have to park the car in the windiest car park in the world. We're kind of just coming off the Pentland Hills, and so just having the Sophie scarf is just enough to keep the wind off me. So yeah, so I really love the Sophie scarf. So the first one that I knitted is this bright pink. It's a gorgeous colour. So this is a combination. I think Petiteknit does. I think she holds a lot of her patterns hold together 2 different yarns. Quite often with mohair or kid silk haze or something like that. So you get this really kind of fluffy, soft effect. So all of the initial few scarves, so all of the scarves I've made are basically either from scraps of kind of leftover wool from other projects, or from West Yorkshire Spinners signature 4-ply sock wool. So anyway, so this one is beautiful pink, held together with kid silk haze. So it's Rowan pure wool 4-ply. A few years ago I was really into a lot of Rowan wool. That's pretty much all I bought actually. So this is Rowan pure wool 4-ply held together with Rowan kid silk haze. And I'll show you in a kind of future episode, I'll show you, I had a lot of kid silk haze in my stash actually, because I had one of my favourite jumpers called for a Kid Silk Haze stripe held double every 10 rows. And so yeah, I actually had a lot of Kid Silk Haze in my stash. And when I went looking for wool to knit the Sophie scarf, I kind of picked out the Kid Silk Haze first and then just matched the other 4-ply wool that I could pair it with. And I got 4 versions actually. So this is really, I've kind of tied my hair up so that I can show them off a bit better. So this is me trying to look as chic as Gail all those years ago. And I don't do anything fancy with it, I literally just do that. And then I quite often wear it all day at work as well. It's a really, you know, sometimes if I feel like a bit of comfort at work, which I sometimes do, this just kind of, yeah, just does the trick. It's just really nice. So yeah, so this is my pink Sophie scarf. And I love the colour, it's so vibrant and it's kind of just beautiful. Yeah, so that's the pink. Next up I knitted green. Again, the wool is Rowan 4-ply pure wool and Rowan Kid Silk Haze that I paired it with. And again, you can see it's just the same thing. I kind of, the Sophie scarf comes in two sizes, a kind of small one and a big one, and I knit between the two actually. I think I do, it's either you do the repeat 21 or 27 times, and I think I do about 24 or 25 repeats to kind of get to the size I want, because this is pretty much where I want these to be. So yeah, so I think I do about 24 or 25. Yeah, so this is a green one, same as a pink one, and yeah, again, I just love it. Same thing. So that's the green Sophie scarf. And then I've got orange. So yeah, again, it's all, the first 4 are all the same wool that I use. So Rowan 4-ply pure wool. Not sure if I still do it anymore actually, I'm not sure if it's discontinued now. And Rowan Kid Silk Haze orange. It's very vibrant and cheerful. Yeah. Do you know, once I was getting on the bus, I walked up the hill one day to get the bus, and when I was sitting on the bus, as the bus was pulling away, I saw a young woman wearing what was obviously a Sophie scarf, and I had such an urge to knock on the window and point at her scarf. I wasn't wearing one myself at the time, so I would have just looked like a mad woman, so I didn't, obviously. But I really wanted to just like, somebody else is wearing a Sophie scarf, how fantastic, we need to get together. So yeah. But I didn't, obviously. So yeah, that's my orange Sophie scarf. They're all, because they're 4-ply and Kid Silk held together, they do have that really kind of fluffy, comfortable warmth to them, and obviously they're kind of, you can see how floppy it is. It's not like it's thick or densely woven, but it's you know, it's kind of, it's just really nice. It's really warm. Obviously because of the gauge that it's been knitted at. And then finally my purple Sophie scarf. So I think this is again Rowan pure wool 4-ply held together with Rowan Kid Silk Haze. I think I didn't really have purple, so I think the Kid Silk Haze is a kind of pinky. Anyway, you can kind of see it kind of speckles depending on how you know, where the loops have kind of fallen. And again, that's the Sophie scarf. So yeah, it's great. I love them. Love them. Yeah, they're just like I say, they're so cozy and versatile, and I kind of grab whichever colour suits whatever I'm wearing at the time. So that's all that was all from my stash. The next 4 I'm going to show you are, well, the next 3 I'm going to show you is all knitted from West Yorkshire Spinners signature 4-ply sock yarn. So this is my rainbow Sophie scarf. It's not held with anything, so you know, the kind of, it's a bit more kind of see-through, a bit lighter. And at first when I was knitting it, I thought maybe I should go down a needle, or you know, just maybe I should knit it, maybe I should hold it with something, maybe like a lighter. But I just knitted it 4-ply, same needle size as recommended in the pattern, and I really like it. I really like it. It doesn't need it is obviously lighter, but it doesn't need to be held with the Kid Silk Haze. It's still really cosy, and I think it looks really good. This one is particularly versatile because I can, if I don't have a colour of Sophie scarf to match my outfit, I can just grab this because it kind of matches most things. Actually, I've got I've got kind of clothes in pretty much, you know, pink and blue and green and yellow. I have a lot of clothes in those colours. When I bought this, to make a pair of socks, and I'll probably show my socks in another retrospective, different episode. And when I bought this, I didn't notice. So I just bought the ball of wool because I loved the colours in it, and I didn't notice until it arrived that it's rainbow colours. But anyway, so I kind of knitted the socks and really loved them. Then had yarn over, so knitted the scarf. But I really, you know, the other reason I really like this is because I believe very strongly in equal rights. And I think it's really important to keep stating that fact, because sometimes, especially with the way, you know, certain things go sometimes, the rise of the right and all that, I think it's really important to for people who believe in equal rights. I mean, quite honestly, I've never understood anybody who wants to control how another person lives. Anyway, I really just don't understand what difference it makes to them. And it's dangerous, and quite often it's the people who are in power making decisions for people about things that are never ever going to affect them anyway. I mean, literally, I do not understand. Anyway, so this is equal rights. I'm kind of choosing my words. Feels getting political now. I'm choosing my words carefully, because it's not even gay rights, it's equal rights. It's you know, one bunch of people shouldn't have more rights to equality. Well, shouldn't have more rights than another bunch of people. But that goes for all over the world. It's not just gay people who are gay. It's misogyny. I could really get on I could get onto a real political rant here. But so anyway, this is my gay Sophie scarf, and I really love it. It feels really nice, and I wear it quite a lot with a lot of different outfits. So that's that. So the next one I knitted was, so this again is West Yorkshire Spinners signature. I think it's Sandra Rhodes, and it's really beautiful actually. I love, again, I saw it online and I love the colours. Yeah, I quite like, so that the rainbow scarf is obviously kind of its blocked colour, so you know, you get a stripe of each colour, but this is all kind of woven in amongst each other, so you get kind of little puffs of pink and yellow and blue and green, and yeah, so I really, again, it's just knitted 4-ply on, I think it's it 3.5mm needles, I think. Yeah, again, I wear this a lot. I have knitted a pair of socks in this. I knitted the socks first, and then had the leftover wool and knitted this. So yeah, so this is my Sandra Rhodes West Yorkshire Spinners 4-ply Sophie scarf. I reach for it quite a lot actually. It feels really nice, and yeah, I think it looks quite stylish. And again, it kind of matches a few things. You know, it's got pink and yellow and blue and green in it, which is, I have quite a lot of in my wardrobe. So the next Sophie scarf, this is my, so again it's West Yorkshire Spinners signature 4-ply sock yarn. So, and I think the colour is Autumn Leaves, and again I just knitted it in on 3.5mm needles, held single, and I've been wearing this a lot actually. I'm quite a seasonal person, and I really like the kind of changing of the seasons. Autumn's probably one of my favourite seasons. So I do like summer, so quite often summer seems to be quite a lot of people's favourite season, but I probably autumn is probably my favourite season. Autumn, then spring, maybe they're equal. Autumn, spring, and then winter. I like winter. And then summer's probably my least favourite season. I like summer for, you know, like everything we can grow, like food and flowers and all that. So I like summer for that. But weather-wise, I'm very much a kind of wrap up, hunker down, cozy up, light the fire, read a book, drink hot tea, kind of person. So and actually, so living back in Scotland, I find it quite funny when a lot of people who have lived here forever, or people who move here, when people kind of complain about the weather and it being cold and dark and wet. I mean, probably my favourite weather is a really dreich, kind of rainy Scottish day. Just for the reasons, I like being out in it as well. I like the freshness of that weather, and I like being out in it. I like coming in, doing all the things I just mentioned. So yeah, I like that kind of, I don't know, the kind of privacy and just the quietness of winter and that type of weather. So yeah. Dreich is a Scottish word, by the way. It means like, you know, you look out and it looks miserable, so it's like overcast and raining, and you know, not many people really want to go out in it, but that's my favourite weather type, and I love living in Scotland for that reason. It's yeah. But yeah, so this next one is, I kind of realised that I didn't have a blue Sophie scarf in my wardrobe, in my tin, and I really wanted one. So I went through my stash because I knew I had some, again, Rowan pure wool 4-ply in my stash. So I found this, and I did have enough to knit the whole thing in blue. But I also found this. This is Rowan Scottish, let me just remember, Rowan Scottish Tweed. Yeah, Rowan Scottish Tweed 4-ply. And I've got quite a few balls of these. I kind of, so I'll say I don't buy wool without having a plan for them, but I obviously have in the past, because I bought a few of these colours. I've probably got about, they're really beautiful colours, and they've got these kind of, I don't know if you can see, the kind of speckles. Okay, so they've got kind of like orange speckles and green speckles. I'm not sure the light's kind of helping. So yeah, and it was actually, I'll see if I can find it on my phone. It was actually inspired by this. So I went to so you can see the belt is, it's got one burgundy and one blue strand. That's a knitted swimsuit, by the way. I went to Dovecot in Edinburgh, did a knitting exhibition what was it called? Something like From Chanel to Westwood. It was last year. So I went to that, and there was lots of really, I took quite a few photographs of some really lovely, inspiring designs and knitted items. And anyway, so I pulled both these balls of wool out thinking that I would just knit this, I'd knit a whole blue Sophie scarf and then I'd knit a whole kind of tweedy yellow Sophie scarf. And I just saw the colours together, so these two colours like that were just really calling to me. So then I thought, inspired by the belt on that swimsuit, I thought maybe I'll just do a half and half scarf. And I started knitting it, and I didn't cut the yarn from the blue for a while because I knitted to about here. And I was thinking, is it working? Is it not? And if I'm honest, I'm not entirely sure it does work. I haven't worn it out yet, but I did a poll on my Instagram, and most of the responses were it's like, should I knit it half and half or should I knit it all blue? And most of the responses were knit it half and half. I only had one response saying knit it all blue, but I do have more Rowan 4-ply pure wool blue in my stash still. It's a little bit lighter than this. I actually like the kind of it's a kind of navy, the kind of lack of warmth in this. And the reason I went searching for this colour in my stash in the first place was because Petiteknit had a cardigan on her Instagram. I can't remember the design name, and it was knitted in this blue, it was a kind of dark, really dark blue without any warmth in it. So I do have more blue 4-ply in my stash, but it's almost, I think it might even be the same colourway, but a different dye lot. So it's not quite as that kind of plain dark blue. Maybe it's got a little bit of kind of lightness or warmth to it, or not quite so saturated. So anyway, I've got it. I'll see if I wear it. Yeah, I do like it. I think. Yeah, I do like it. Yeah, I haven't worn it yet though, and I can knit another whole blue one, so that'll be fine. Yeah. So that's my Sophie scarf. So that kind of segues into, from the retrospective into this is the only finished object I have today. And I'm not really sure why. I thought that kind of knitting frenzy that I had in the last episode has waned a little bit, which is a bit of a relief because it was a wee bit exhausting actually. So I'm still knitting obviously, I'm still knitting every night and knitting on the bus. But yeah, I'm kind of, it's not quite as hyper as it was. So that's my only finished object today. I just thought I would kind of show you, this is me wearing the Rigmor tee, and underneath I'll try and not flash you my belly. So this is, yeah. So I'm completely failed. So this is my, I'm wearing my Rigmor tee, which I absolutely love. I wore it, my husband's siblings came over the other day and I wore it for the first time. So his sisters over from Australia and his brother came up from Bath. So they had a kind of sibling meet out at our house. So I wore it then, and it was a real joy to wear. I really loved it. It felt really nice, and I'm wearing the Sugarboo bralette underneath in Drops Nepal, and so I've worn the white Drops Alaska Sugarboo bralette quite a lot, and again, I said in the last episode that when I saw that pattern, I just knew I had to have it and knit it, and I kind of really hoped that when I wore it, it would feel like and it does. So it feels like being in a knitted hug, because you've got that negative ease, so it kind of holds you in, and it's warm and it's supportive, and Yeah, I'm so pleased to find the pattern. I'm really pleased that I've got other versions lined up to knit, because I think it's going to be an amazing winter staple for me. The only thing is, so when I knitted the first two, so I'm knitting the third one now. When I knitted the first two, I knitted 5 inches on the bust and 5 inches on the kind of the body. And I'm on the third version, I'm lengthening that slightly, so I've done 5.5 inches on the bust for the next one, and I'm going to do maybe 6 or 7 inches on the body, just because I want it so they stop at my belly button at the minute, and that's okay actually. It is okay, and it might be better with a skirt, but with jeans it's just a bit too high. So I'm gonna knit them a bit longer, just so that I can be warmer. So I'm just gonna check the recording time, and then I'll get into my my whips. Okay, hold on 1 second. Yeah, okay. So I'm at 27 minutes. So I'm gonna, because of the recording time, which I haven't fixed yet. I don't know how to fix it. I haven't even looked. It might be a really simple fix. But so anyway, I'm gonna stop there and start a fresh recording. Okay. Hi. So welcome back to a new recording. Yep. So I have 2 whips, but one's almost finished actually, and one's only just started. So my first work in progress is a Sugarboo Bralette number 3 by Caidree, and it's knitted in Drops Alaska. So Drops Alaska is a bit more itchy than Drops Nepal, but actually I don't have very sensitive skin, I don't think, because I really like it. It feels really nice on me. So as you can see, let me try and find the front. Okay, so it's quite difficult to hold up. So I'm on the body now. So I've done the bust, now on the body, and like I said, I'm going to knit it to about 6 or 7 inches, just so that it, when I'm wearing jeans, it comes down a bit further. So the word I couldn't remember in the last podcast was provisional. So it's the provisional cast on that I still haven't really found a solution for. So I thought I would just, when I did this one, I didn't do a provisional cast on, I just cast on, and thinking I'll just find, because picking up, I'm going to have to, it doesn't really matter if I'm picking up stitches that are provisionally held, or picking up just going through what's already there. But then I kind of realised that for the back I would need, because I'm doing Kitchener on the back, I would need these to be held provisional cast on. So then I just thought I'll just do provisional cast on, but I do need to find a better method, because I still can't get my head around how the method that's recommended in the link in her pattern, it just doesn't make sense to me. I can't see how I could end up with 3 loops, so by doing that. So anyway, I need to find a better provisional cast on, but I cast this on and I was kind of in too much of a rush to cast on, and couldn't be bothered trying a new method, or so I just did it. So yeah, I really love this colour. It's really nice. It's kind of, I quite like these subtle understated colours, and I think they'll be really nice for underwear. So yeah, so that's my Sugarboo Bralette number 3, and I'll probably finish it tonight actually, because it doesn't take long. When I was in my knitting frenzy, it was probably taking me about 2 days to finish a Sugarboo Bralette, because it's Aran. It doesn't take long at all. But yeah, at the minute, this is probably taking me about 3 or 4 days to finish, so not too bad. But yeah, so that's my Sugarboo Bralette. And then my other whip is, it's a very meagre offering. It's 4-ply. So this is the Rigmor tee, so it's going to be exactly the same as what I'm wearing. And it's beautiful. This is Drops Flora, and I just love this. It's such a beautiful colour. It's almost kind of peacock blue. I think it might be called, I can't remember what it's called actually, petrol maybe. But yeah, it's a really vivacious blue. So I really love it, and I think it'll be amazing. I do feel a bit weary when I think about knitting this whole thing again, but I love it so much, so I obviously will have to persevere. And sometimes, you know, after I've been knitting Aran weight yarn for a while, sometimes I really want to knit 4-ply again, and vice versa, obviously. So so yeah, this is my 4-ply Drops Flora Rigmor tee, which I'm going to do 3/4 length sleeves again. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. I found, I kind of mentioned some knitting podcasts that I really enjoy in my last episode, and I've kind of discovered a new one. I find it quite difficult to really, you know, it's that thing of when you find something you like, then I kind of end up binging on it. So the 4 that I've watched every episode that they've made. And the latest podcaster I've discovered is Young Folk. Is it Young Folk Knits? And the podcaster there is called Casey Apple, which is just a brilliant name. I love it. And she is just the sweetest person. She's just really, as soon as she comes on screen, there's such a warmth about her. So yes, that's Young Folk Knits. She's American. I think she's in Arkansas. And yeah, it's just a really, really, really lovely space. So yeah, that's what I've been watching recently. She does a lot of sewing as well, and I do some sewing. So yeah. So that's pretty much, it feels like quite a light episode actually, just because the Sophie scarves are small, I suppose, I don't know. I'm on holiday from work for 2 weeks, and I'm really happy about that because I really need a break. So yeah, and I've been doing some of the book festival online this year. I usually actually take the book festival off, 2 weeks off over the book festival, Edinburgh International Book Festival. And I usually go to events, and I love the atmosphere. They're kind of in a bit of a transitional phase at the minute because they're moving. They've been in Charlotte Square for years, maybe since they started, which has just got such a, Charlotte Square is a square, and they've got like a bookshop there and all the tents at all the events, and it's a really lovely space. You can get tea and coffee there and wine, and it's just a lovely space to meet friends and to go to events, and I love that interaction between, you know, the format of book events is usually the chair asks the writer some questions, and sometimes the writer reads from their current novel, and then there's questions from the audience. And now because of COVID, they moved it online, and now they've kind of kept most of it online, so you can watch and donate, and you can watch for free. So this year I've been just watching it online. There wasn't anybody that I really, really, really wanted to see this year, although I have watched a few events, and they've been amazing. And in fact, there's an event between the Prime Minister of Iceland, actually, this is my pronunciation, Katrin Jakobsdottir and Ragnar Jonasson. So I really like Nordic noir, Scandinavian noir crime fiction, and so yeah, I just thought I bought it audiobook, and I've been listening to that when I drive down to visit my dad. So that was a really interesting event. But I've listened to quite a few actually. James Kelman, Eleanor Catton, Val McDermott, Bonnie Garmus, Ian McEwan, Robin Stevens, and then Ali Smith is tomorrow. Ali Smith is just such a inspirational an amazing woman writer. But every event has been James Kelman's event. I really love that kind of he's obviously so kind of knows writing so thoroughly and is really erudite, and but I mean I'm probably Scottish socialist as my kind of political leaning, and he's, there's just that kind of thing about Scotland that I love. It's obviously not everywhere. You get kind of racism or prejudice everywhere, but what I like about Scotland is I feel like it's quite a socialist country, and it wants to reinvest in its people. So things like, it copied the baby box from Scandinavia, where every new baby gets a baby box with things it needs for the first few days of its life, so nappies, and the box is actually a bed to sleep in, and baby grows and stuff like that. We have free tuition for university in Scotland. And I think that's really important. It's just about investing in its people, which and anyway, so James Kelman is very much he's just comes across as a person who does the right thing. There's no kind of artifice about him at all. He's like a proper person. So anyway, so he was really inspiring. Yeah, James Kelman, if you don't know, he won the Booker Prize. I can't remember. Was it 1984? I really don't remember. With How Late It Was, How Late. But he was talking about how even now some bookshops don't stock him. Anyway, but so he was amazing. That was amazing. But every event, Bonnie Garmus was brilliant. Eleanor Catton was really interesting as well, because she was being interviewed by Nicola Sturgeon. So Eleanor Catton is from New Zealand. She won the Booker Prize as well more recently. And it was interesting watching our former First Minister interviewing Eleanor Catton, because she's political but from a writing point of view. And anyway, so that was really interesting. I actually haven't read Eleanor Catton's books, but I probably will and probably should. So yeah, so that's, and there's many more events still to come up. I think it's on for another few days. Yeah, I think this might be the last weekend. I'm not sure, but yeah. So anyway, that's been amazing. I've got one final. So this is I knit my own phone covers. So I need to knit a new phone cover. This is obviously just a hodgepodge of kind of seed stitch, stocking stitch. I did a funny little, I'm not sure that's a kind of diamond. So anyway, it's beginning to look, I've had it for quite a while now, this phone cover. So I'm going to do a new phone cover. I thought I might, there's a cable stitch that I really like called Banjo Cable, so I might do that in my next, but I'll just find wool that I like and knit a new cover. So yeah, I think that's all for today. In my next episode, I might pull out my TV jumpers. So I call them my TV jumpers, but they're jumpers that I knitted quite a few years ago, and it's from a book that I really loved at the time, called Vintage Knits by Sarah Dallas, and it's just a mix of jumpers and cardigans, and yeah, I knitted a few things from it actually, But anyway, so this is a 4-ply jumper. The reason I called it my TV jumper was because it's just stocking stitch, and I think it's knitted flat. That old kind of English tradition of knitting flat, which if I was to knit it again, I'd knit it in the round and just modify the pattern to make it easier to knit. So yeah, so that's, but I've got a few versions of that. So I might do the TV jumper in my next episode as my retrospective, and hopefully I'll have a few more things finished as well. I'll try and get my knitting hysteria back to have a few more finished objects. But otherwise, yeah, I'm just kind of looking forward to having some time off work and spending time on the allotment. We need to get the potatoes up. We've got some tomatoes coming through. It's really beautiful. I might do a little allotment section at the end, maybe. I'll do a little allotment film for you to show you what we're growing. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye bye.